Hi there, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be discussing about Amazon Elastic Container Service and how we can run highly secure, reliable, and scalable containers. So before proceeding, just a basic introduction about it. So it is a fully managed container orchestration service that helps you to efficiently deploy, manage, and scale your containerized application. So it is having a deep integration with the AWS environment in order to provide you easy to use solution for running your various container workloads in the cloud as well as in the on-premise. So both the options are there, so we can utilize any one of them. So it is also having some advanced security features also already in place, so we not to worry about to manage those things or configure those things. So everything is very easy to set up. So what are the benefits? So we can launch our containers at a scale. It also reduces the cost with the pay-as-you-go pricing, and it will increase the speed and agility of your application, and it helps you to optimize your security as well as the compliance. So these are the few benefits of ECS. Now coming to this picture you can see over here. So the developers can deploy this application and resources that needs like ECS to do the rest of the things. Then there are operators that too can do the custom scaling as well as capacity rules and observe the telemetric data, logs and all. They can have a quick watch over here to those logs. And this ECS will deploy and the scaling based on this Fargate, EC2, or ECS anywhere, outpost, local zones, wavelength. And we can have our container registry in over here in place, from which we will be pulling up our image, whatever we have stored. So if you remember in the previous video, we have some image that were being stored in the ECR. So we'll be utilizing the same image in order to deploy our application. So along with this ECS, we can have a configuration for the Elastic file system, load balancing. So these things are also taken care, even the managed secrets, automated integration also with the other AWS services. We just need to select and it will get integrated. It's very user-friendly interface. So let's proceed to the AWS console. So I will be showing you how we can start up our own cluster. So once you reach to your AWS console, just click on this Amazon Elastic Container Service. You will click on this create cluster. It will take some time to spin up. So let's say I'm keeping a dev cluster. So namespace by default, it will be the same. So you can also define your different namespace. How you can group your service, it's your wish. So here in the infrastructure, you can see over here your cluster is automatically configured for AWS Fargate, that is serverless, with 2 capacity providers. Add Amazon EC2 instance or external instance using ECS anywhere. So we will go with this AWS Fargate only. So it is pay as you go. Use if you have a tiny batch or burst workloads, or for zero maintenance overhead. So we can go ahead. But if you go with the EC2 instance, we have to manually configure all those things and which workloads to be used with like in order to maintain the demand and all. So it is a little bit like additional task that we have to do over here. Same in case of ECS. So we have to add the data center compute and all those things. So I will just show you with the AWS Fargate over here. And there is a monitoring also over here. This is optional. Tags and all these things are optional. So we can also have the container insights. So by default, it is off. We can enable that, but there is again a cost is involved. So I'll just click create. So once the cluster becomes up, then I will show you how we can integrate our ECR and then we can proceed. So we need to wait a couple of minutes, then I will show you. Okay, now you can see our cluster has been created. Now I'll go to the task definition. Here you can see there is no task definition being created. So first I'll go to the create new task definition. And I will type over here my task, my cluster task. And here AWS Fargate, Linux, the rest of the things you can leave it as it is. Now make it sure this execution role it is being getting created. And here your container registry. So I will just copy the image URI and paste it over here. Okay, that's all. Rest of the things you can keep it as it is. No need to change anything. Just you can click create. So basically it will create a task definition. So now in order to run the task, we can directly run it or we can create a service to run that particular task. So you can see our task definition has been created and we can have the revisions and all multiple things we can have it over here. So I'm just talking about like just a simple task definition being created. Now if you go to the cluster, so basically we can have choose over here create a service, but when you click on create service it will tell you do you have a task definition. If not, just create a task definition. So that's why I just went to the task definition first, then I can create that particular task definition and come back to the service. Now in this service we have to choose over here the task and latest over here and the service name over here, my service. Okay, so you can just keep it the desired task number of tasks to be 1, and the sort of things you can keep it by default. So if you want to create a load balancer and all those things, these are optional. Networking, you can see over here, this is the security group, the default security group. Basically, if you have allowed a port 80 on your application in the Docker container registry, the image file in which, like when we were creating the Docker Compose, we have defined the port number for the application. So we need to allow that particular port number in order to access our application. So I'll show you. Just let's create this. So it will take some time to create. So we can just go to the task over here and we can look into, you can see it is still provisioning. So once it is being in running status, so we can check with this public IP. So I'll just open this public IP over here so we can check it. Nothing is being reached. Now, some of you might be getting this, but make it sure. I will show you just what the issue is. So when I created a Docker, uh, this Docker file, so you can see I have defined the ports 5096, to which it will communicate the node port basically. So in this case, we need to make sure in our security group. So let me show you over here. In the networking, you have to go to the security groups and you need to allow. So those who have defined port 80, no need to worry about that. Just you need to make sure you add this inbound rule. By default, it won't be there. So you have to define this HTTP port 80 for me also, this custom I have defined over here 5096 for my application. So you can see if I run like this, it won't work because I haven't set the port number 80. So in my that container definition, I haven't mentioned 80, so I have mentioned 5096. So you can now check my application is working now. So this is how the small things you need to take care. So while creating a Docker file and all. So a few more things that we can check over here. Again, the task definition. You can go to your task definition over here. Or you can just go to the cluster. You can see it's giving you the details. Default cluster, how many active are there, how many running are there, and it is having one service that is active, that is a replica set basically. So it is deploying one of the tasks that is running. And if you go to the service, you can check inside this what are the tasks. So you can see the status also over here, like how many tasks were there and how many were pending and how many are being done completed by that service. So if you go to the task over here, you can just look into this. It's still provisioning, but it's almost. Just let me refresh. It's running now. So that's how our application is running. So this is the private IP, public IP that needs to be accessed. Now, if you see over here, one more thing, you can check the deployments over here, and you can see it is being deployed. So one running, zero pending. So if any issues are there with the permission, then like, when it is going to deploy on the create a node, so from the container image, there will be like image pull errors and all will be there. So that in that case, we need to check the logs. So, but here nothing happened. So everything worked fine. So even in the Visual Studio code, you can check it over here, AWS, and you can just go to so this is our cluster. So basically, you need to refresh. So you can see my service and ECS demo. So this is how we can run our container registry image that was being created. And this is how we can spin our ECS cluster. So nothing to worry about anything. You can see one service is being running. That's all. So, but in order to customize more, like we can have a cluster, we can define the load balancer, networking things and all, and we can make it more like, the security rules and all. So this was just a demo. So in the upcoming time, like we can like have a quick go through with the CLI also, like how many clusters are there, like how many nodes are running. So these kind of information, how many deployments are there, what are the services that are running. So we can check the container details, which container is being running. So all those things we can have a look through the CLI. So I will try to make another video in which we can go through. But I think this is like this interface, the GUI is much easier and easy to deploy over here. Okay, so if you create a new revision, and then again it will be created task number 2, in which you can just define over here some more changes, and then whether you want to deploy on the same one, like a forceful one, or you want to redeploy, you can choose those options. Okay, so I hope you got it, like how to run your cluster, how to create a task definition, and how to create a service. And once it is done, so you can, so currently there is only one, so we can have like, when we were creating like how many desired and how many minimum, this kind of things we can also define. So just in this one, I just deployed only one. So I hope I was able to explain you. In case of any difficulties, you can just reach out to me. You can just comment on my videos so I can help you out of deploying this to the ECS. So please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.